So before we get into the main video, a very quick little intro. Obviously, part of the reason this took so long to get out is I did have an edit done. Wasn't really happy with it. That happened a few times. But one thing that isn't mentioned in the video is because this happened, we wrote it back in May. Obviously, since then, Hurricane Helene hit that whole area and other areas and kind of devastated a lot of them. So did want to mention that if you want to still donate to them, I know there's still stuff going on, so just to bear that in mind. Didn't mention any of it in the video really because obviously it was shot in May and none of that was there, but some of the roads, especially between Asheville and Cherokee, where you see some of the tunnels, are no longer accessible. So if you do want to do this trip, you might just have to wait a little while, but do give that whole area your support tourism-wise when it is back open, because obviously a lot of people there rely on tourism. So yeah, just a little quick intro that I wanted to cover off. And I hope everyone over there is doing a lot better now. And I hope people are recovering well, because it was pretty bad. So yeah, back to the actual video. So back in May, we rode the entire Blue Ridge Parkway. Didn't take much footage until we got to the kind of the boon section. By much I didn't take any, but I'll throw up some photos as I talk through the early stages. So myself and Toaster set off from Clayton in North Carolina to make our way up to Waynesboro in Virginia to meet up with Hatter, Rafay and Alex. We did also get a bonus guest for one night, Ragov. He was in his car and decided against coming any further with us. He did do Skyline Drive, however, on his way there, and enjoyed that. So would have been nice to have him along for the whole thing, but you know, I understand some people just don't like driving. Think it's crazy, but there you go. So along our way to Waynesboro, bearing in mind this was Toaster's really first big trip on the CB750, and in my opinion pretty bloody brave for her to just send it. I'm very proud of her that she did, and I think now that it's all over, she's glad she did. You know, it's kind of a really a once in a lifetime experience. So yeah, we stopped in Clarksville on the way up, which was a nice spot. Got a little food and met up with the guys in an Airbnb in Waynesboro. Airbnb was very nice. There was donkeys and everything on site. If I have any photos of that, I'll throw them up. If not, I won't. Like I said, not much footage, so anything I overlay right now is from the rest of the trip.
So hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker. We're actually nearly through day one. Yeah, we're doing a video right now. I don't have my microphone on, so I don't know how good the audio will be. This is Alex, you know Hatter. This is Rafay, and that's Toaster on the CB. And the Blue Ridge Parkway is kind of awesome. It's not the fastest ride I've ever done in my life, but it is pretty tasty. And I just nearly fell down a giant hole. And I mean, you just get views like this. It's not as good as West Virginia though, Barry, is it?
They show off their mountains better, but
but yeah, that's it. You'll probably see voiced over clips and whatnot, because you see I'm actually spending time with people I know, so not recording constantly. And yeah, that's what we'll be doing, is some more clips. Oh no.
So met up with everyone in Waynesboro, and we set off the next morning to get to Roanoke. So this was one of the not so bad segments of the trip, like pretty short, pretty easy day. Stopped lots along the way, took in the views. The Waynesboro to Roanoke section, not the most scenic, obviously. It's not really the meat of the meal, say, but still very glad we did the whole thing. And to kind of put it into context, the Blue Ridge Parkway has been a dream of mine ever since I saw it on the Discovery Channel when I was a child. I've always wanted to go. I have always wanted to see it in total. I wanted to ride the whole thing, or drive a cool old classic car, but don't have one of those. Bike is my preference anyway. So from Roanoke, we then made our way to Boone. This is kind of where I started taking footage, so that's what I'm going to cover. Roanoke was nice too. Airbnb there was a bit meh, so we won't share that one. Got to Boone, very nice place. I love Boone. I love most of Western North Carolina that I've been to be honest. We've done a fair chunk of it now at this point, but stayed in a beautiful Airbnb in Boone, got a nice meal, had a good time there, and made our way on to Asheville. So this is really where the footage starts, and you just can't beat the scenery. It's view after view. Where this first clip you're seeing now is actually the viaduct basically that they built up there near Boone, and I forgot that it was coming up, so I didn't get my cameras on for it. I just put it on for the last little bit of a section, but it is stunning. The views there are stunning. It is such a beautiful place, and the viaduct really allows you to see so much. If you can ride one road in your life and it was the Blue Ridge Parkway, I don't think you'd be disappointed. It's not a fast road. It is federal, so you don't want to be caught speeding there, especially when you're on a visa like I am. So we did take it very easy. Obviously, it being Toaster's first big trip as well, took it very easy, made sure everyone was comfortable. And I do want to shout out the guys. Everyone was so supportive of Toaster, which is something to me personally. Obviously, it's important. She's my wife, but also it's important to me because that is a big thing in the motorcycle community, that you have to break some people in differently to trips. Me, I sent it very early on. Was that a good idea? Who knows? Nothing bad happened. I was always pretty aware of my limits. But certainly, you see some people just pushing people too far, and that's something we all really did not want to do, and I think everyone was aware of that. Rafay being relatively new to bikes as well. Who was on the trip was myself, Rafay, Toaster, Hatter, JBK, or Barry, and Alex. And Alex made his way down from very far away. Man did an iron butt home when he did go home. That's how far away he was. He's a beast on a Scout, by the way. Beautiful bike. But we had a nice blend of bikes. I was on my V-Strom, Rafay was on his Ninja 400, Toaster was on the CB750, Hatter was on his Victory, and Alex was on his Indian. So really nice blend of bikes, nice relaxed pace, could take in the views, could stop as much as we wanted to, and that was a real part of the plan, was just to stop as much as we actually wanted to, take in the views. That's the whole point of it. It's not a road that you can go fast on if you don't want to risk it, but also you don't really need to, because it is very pleasant to do the speed limit plus or minus the allowable tolerance, and just really enjoy yourself, which we did. From Boone, obviously the next stop was in Asheville. Again, very nice Airbnb. Asheville's a beautiful place. I've been there many times now since we moved over here. One of my favorite regions in the world at this point, I would say. Asheville is Boone to Cherokee, which is where the Blue Ridge Parkway ends, is definitely my preferred section, scenery wise and road wise. There's a lot more turns, a lot more curves, and you can really just enjoy them a lot more. Like I said, I would highly recommend doing the whole thing. But even at the end of this trip, before the trip was fully finished, we were all talking about we wanted to do it again next year. Now, obviously with the stuff I discussed at the very, very start of the video in the quick intro, maybe that won't be possible. If it's not, we'll definitely do a trip and do bits and pieces. But one thing as well just to call out is when these places open back up, don't be afraid to go there. A lot of that is based on tour. A lot of people's income is based on tourism, and they would definitely welcome people when they're open for that again, because that's their livelihoods. So I'm really looking forward to visiting there again. I hope everyone's recovering well. Enough said about that. So yeah, from Asheville, obviously we made our way to Cherokee. This is where I think the best parts of the trip for a lot of us happened. Just beautiful winding roads, stunning views. We got to see bears, so that was amazing, even though there was cubs there and the person had just stopped on the road to record them. And you know, bears and their cubs, you don't want to be too near them, especially when you're on bikes. We also, along the way, we saw some amazing classic cars. I'll throw up some photos if I have them. Met a gentleman who goes by Friomind, F-R-I-O-M-I-N-D-S, Frio without the S, on his custom, you know, bike that he had. I'll throw up photos of that. Beautiful bike. He kindly let me take photos of it. Really nice guy. Bears were definitely a highlight. I don't actually like seeing bears that close to a road, but it was amazing. It was amazing to see them. It really was. So that road was incredibly enjoyable. Just the windiness of it, the views. You could stop genuinely at probably every single overlook as soon as you hit Boone, all the way to Cherokee, and every single one of them would offer amazing views. You wouldn't be disappointed by any of them. And you know, that's something that I think gets lost sometimes, because you really probably can't stop at every single one if you're on a timeline. We were on a timeline. Obviously we all have jobs, unfortunately, you know. Well, not unfortunately, I mean, it's good we have jobs, but it's unfortunate we can't take all the time in the world. So we were on a time schedule. And that's just something we had to deal with. So we did have to keep it moving to a degree. Obviously, you don't want people on the bike too long as well, get tired and whatnot. So we knew we had to hit Cherokee. Asheville to Cherokee is a relatively short stint though. So and that was intentional. I planned it out so that, you know, the more scenic chunks were the ones that we had a lot more time to do lower mileage, just so we could stop more. Very glad that's how we planned it out. You know, you did the slogs between Waynesboro, Roanoke, and Roanoke to Boone. Those were the kind of longer days. And just overall, I think that worked out really, really well, because got to take in the views a lot more and just really enjoy them. As soon as you get to that section as well, Asheville, Cherokee, you get a lot of tunnels. The tunnels were definitely a highlight for me. I loved them. For obvious reasons, just bike noises. Along with that, then obviously when you land into Cherokee, and again we got in there relatively early compared to a lot of our other arrival days at our Airbnbs, so we checked in, and then to give Toaster a break, she hopped on the back of the V-Strom, and we did a little section of the Smokies, the road on the Smokies. I'm not sure the actual name of the road, but we have been there before in a car, and I don't want to use the term because it's a bit, you know, silly, but that area is magical. It really is. One big thing we wanted to do was see the elk. Rafay hadn't seen elk before. You can see us celebrating in a clip here just because we saw the elk. Amazing creatures, so cool to see them in the wild. You know, the rangers are there. The rangers have been there every time we've been there, just looking after them, which is, again, number one, probably one of the best jobs in the world. I would do it in a heartbeat, but just seeing them in the wild is so cool. And you know, we'd stopped and we talked to someone. We didn't get photos, unfortunately, but on the way back in, he had said, you know, people go looking for the elk, but in the evening time they just walk into the town. And hilariously, as we rode back in that evening, they were up on the hill, like that kind of overlooks the town, just chilling, eating. So I mean, he wasn't wrong. They'd walked into town. Amazing. Really, really amazing. We got so much time in Cherokee. We also got to go for a swim in the river there. Myself, Rafay, and Toaster did that. Alex came down for a walk, and Barry had a little relax for himself, because he had done an insane chunk of mileage. He literally went from one trip, a meetup that he does with some other friends every year. He did that trip, rode all the way back over, and met us in Waynesboro. Animal. And then did the whole trip and then rode home. So impressive. Really glad he came. So yeah, I'll take a moment to just thank everyone, because again, this trip was really important to me. It was something I wanted to do. And it's always funny when you put out dates that are available, and you know, you try to organize things. People will say they'll go and then they can't go, and things come up. Alex, I had never met in person before. He's on my Discord and said yes. He turned up, great company. Really glad that I have met and know him in person now. You know, obviously I know Rafay and I know Hatter, have traveled with them previously. Both great people.
Hey Barry, how are you liking the Blue Ridge Parkway so far? Is it good?
Yep.
You liking it? Should other people do the Blue Ridge Parkway?
Yes.
Yeah? Like how much yes?
Very yes.
Good. Thank you, Barry. Hey Rafay, this is totally a picture and not a video. You having fun?
Yeah.
That was a lie, it's a video.
I'm posing.
It's still a video.
I'm still posing.
It's still a video. How are you liking the Blue Ridge Parkway?
Freaking lit.
Yeah, you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone should do it.
Yeah, I
Get a
agree.
bike.
Alex, you like the Blue Ridge Parkway? I like it.
And again, Rafay was someone who signed on to the trip early on, had some complications but made it happen. And again, I just want to thank, you know, the four people, because obviously Toaster still pretty new to bikes in the grand scheme of things. That was a big leap to go from, you know, more local, smaller, shorter rides to that. And it's funny because I've always said, you know, when you get on twistier, quieter roads, they're much more enjoyable. And I think she definitely found that as well. You know, highways are not pleasant on bikes. Not over here. You have huge trucks and whatever else all the time, people on phones. When you get onto those back roads with views, and I don't know, for me it just calms me down. It's like a de-stressor nearly. And it was just amazing to have a good group of people with me to do that trip. And I know it was obviously everyone's trip, but I can't put into words how important it was for me, you know, to do this. It's one of those things that, like, you know, you make those silly lists that your bucket list things. This was genuinely one of my bucket list things, and to be able to share it with people who are my friends and are important to me is pretty cool. And you know, open invite any of my other friends who are also very important to me. If you ever want to do this trip again, I would happily do it again. You know, having Toaster with us obviously meant we had to be more chill. Actually added to the enjoyment, because there was no point of the trip at all I was worried about getting pulled over. And if you ride bikes, there's always something at the back of your mind for some reason, you know, not saying anyone goes too fast or anything, but there's always something in the back of your mind, you know, generally thinking, oh, you know, is there someone waiting around this corner with a speed gun, for instance? Just as an example. Didn't have to worry about that this time, and that was actually very enjoyable. Definitely added to the relaxation factor of this trip for me. And, you know, I've obviously gotten to do a couple of West Virginia trips with Barry, a couple of traveling more north trips as well, but this one was a real recharger of the soul. It was amazing. Cannot stress that enough. So yeah, in total, Clayton, North Carolina to Waynesboro was about 210 miles with the stop in Clarksville. The entirety of the Blue Ridge Parkway is 469 miles. We only hit one little snag of roadworks, and we missed about 25 miles of it. So possibly did a little bit more than the 469 in total due to the detours. And then on the way back from Cherokee, myself and Toaster rode from Cherokee to Charlotte, stayed in Charlotte for the night, rode into Charlotte, and then home. So in total, it's 1,000+ miles for us. I think it was roughly, if we had hit just the exact number of miles planned out, it would have been 1,015. It probably ended up a good chunk more than that with all the little extra spins we did and whatnot. Not even huge mileage. Did it over a week, from a Monday to a Sunday. Was fine for me. It was actually a really pleasant chunk of mileage for me. I think Toaster was just about done. She was definitely didn't want to see the bike again for all when we got back, and Alex did obviously way more mileage than the rest of us with his iron butt home, so he probably did double at least. Well, no, mathematically he did double. So just impressive. Other than that, I mean, not much more to say other than if this is something you want to do, if you have the ability to do it, if you have the time to do it, if you're close to the area, so worth riding this. If you get a good group of friends with you and can, you know, rent nice Airbnbs when it's split up over several people, very, very, very worthwhile doing. The only thing I would change if we went back, like I said, is I think probably do a shorter section so that, you know, we have more days / time to spend in each area. I would have really liked to spend a couple of days in Cherokee because I think that whole area is just stunning. Done a little bit of the Smokies. Definitely would have happily spent more time in Boone also, hit more back roads off the Blue Ridge Parkway in the evenings or whatever. Roanoke is nice, the Roanoke area is nice, Waynesboro is nice, Waynesboro area is nice, you know, all that stuff, but definitely would happily just go directly to Boone, start from there, and just take more time to really enjoy the areas. I can't remember whose fault it is that we couldn't do more space, but I think it was Rafay's, so I'm going to blame him. I think he was the reason we couldn't start on the Saturday or whatever else. Hatter may have played into that too, but we're blaming Rafay. You're off the hook, Hatter. So yeah, hopefully I've crammed enough of the footage I did take into this video to really give you a flavour of what the Blue Ridge Parkway trip was like for us. Like I said, amazing. If it is a once in a lifetime experience, I'm so glad I got to do it. I'm so glad I got to do it with friends. I'm so glad we got to see the bears, the elk, met Mr. Freomind, saw some of the really cool classic cars, vintage cars that people take up there. Just it's funny when you talk to people who are automotive enthusiasts. That's all we want. We want a pretty road with good views and, you know, minimal traffic. And we were really lucky that we didn't hit much traffic. I don't know how busy it gets. I think it gets quite busy when fall, autumn is happening and the leaves are coming down or changing color. I think May was perfect for what we wanted to do. Pretty quiet. You know, didn't have an issue getting accommodation anywhere, food or whatever else. It was just, I can't think of anything I would legitimately change from this trip other than add more days. that's it. If I could have done more time, you know, in those areas, that would definitely be something that I would possibly change. But yeah, like I said, hopefully this video gave you a good flavor of what we did. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a comment, ask any questions that you might want to ask. The V-Strom did amazing. Rafay's bike, the Ninja 400, did amazing. The CB750 did amazing. It gave up when we got home and decided that it didn't want to seal its carbs anymore. That has since been fixed. Alex's bike did amazing, as did Hatter's. Hatter needed some brakes. And you know, after the trip, he did decide to yeet that bike to do a couple of somersaults. He's fine. He has replaced the bike. The main thing is he is fine, and I will definitely miss that bike. It was a beautiful bike, but he has gotten one very, very similar, just a different color. So it's not like we're missing that nice classy cruiser with us that gets sent around mountain roads just as fast as the V-Strom does. So yeah, like I said, overall amazing experience, highly recommend it. And yeah, until next time, if you watch, thank you very much for watching. As always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons. Just to point out again, Rafay is not one of my patrons. Not calling you out, Rafay. I'm just, you know, I just have to share facts with the people at home. I don't actually want patrons. I'd cancel it if it was allowed, to be honest. I think, yeah, we don't need to get into that. Anyway, yeah, if you have any questions, like I said, please leave them down in the comments. Sorry this took so long to do this video. I never had any way to portray how I felt about it. I think everything I've done has fallen short. This is the way that I think I could accurately convey as much footage as possible with my thoughts. So yeah, that's why I did it this way. This is unscripted. Genuinely just spoke from how I remembered it. So hopefully it made sense. And yeah, thanks again. Adios. Outro crew. Have you ever been to the Blue Ridge Parkway? Did you ride the whole thing or just sections? Do you want to ride the whole thing? Has this made you want to ride it? Let me know your thoughts. If anyone wants to ride it, let me know. I might join in. Bye, outro crew.